I am a huge proponent against illegal migration. It's just plain and simple. They come in, they ruin your economy, they ruin your everything. Just I'm against it. I'm absolutely against it. And there's this inside the illegal Dunki route migrants take from India to the U.S. It's like, what the heck? What the heck?
Thousands of young Indian men are slipping through jungles, rivers and border fences with no visas, no guarantees and no way back. What's triggering this exodus? A feed full of promises, fast cars and curated lives in a...
It's a lie. That's the thing. It was... So... It used to be people in India would call the US or the UK or any other Western nation and scam them for money. And then some Indians came to the US and guess what they started doing? They started scamming the Indians in... Oh my gosh, what the heck is wrong with me? The Indians back home. They started scamming them, being like, oh, you could do this. You could do this. It's just absolutely insane.
American and European cities.
All of a sudden, it becomes a silver bullet solution to all your problems. If only I could get there, I could have all this nice stuff.
Nope.
While social media sells the dream, agents sell
the social media grifters.
The route.
वो फ्लाई कर जाएगा, अपनी डेस्टिनेशन पे उतर जाएगा. वहाँ पे भी हमारा एक बंदा है जो इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट में काम कर रहा है.
This is illegal immigration, an underground trail that crosses borders illegally.
Now the pattern has shifted to almost all the cities and states of India.
Most don't know what they...
Same thing happens with the cartels. A lot of the women and children, let's just say, they don't get through the trips unscathed. Things happen to them because they're women and children. It's insane. It's absolutely disgusting. And then people start being like, oh, but it's okay. If we encourage that kind of behavior, guess what? The criminals will start getting more access to people who are innocent to begin with. It's not about just accepting everyone to your nation. It's about making sure that these people who are trying to get to your nation illegally aren't going through avenues which will take advantage of them. But a lot of people in the US don't see it that way. They're like, oh, illegal good or immigration good. Sure, immigration is good when it's done by law.
Getting into, and many others vanish.
हाँ भाई मैं बोल रहा था मोहित मेरा भी सागर का भी और तो मेरे दोस्तों का भी हाँ कोई दिक्कत नहीं है भाई
22-year-old Mohit Katia is on a journey that might change the course of his life.
जो पहली पेमेंट है वो क्लियर कर देंगे पहले आप आगे का प्रोसेस चालू करो हाँ जितना जल्दी हो उसके यहाँ से निकाल.
They're being scammed. I was like, oh, I can pay you if you take care, if you can get me to the no. No. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks having to apply. It sucks having to wait for years. It sucks having to resubmit and do all the paperwork. And most of the time, they don't tell you everything you're supposed to. I mean, that thing happened with my wife. I was told what I had to do, and I did my part. And then when it came to her part, she first never got her letter in the mail. I got an email saying, oh, if this is real, you'll have to contact us, because she never did anything. That was a huge red flag. And then she started doing her part and realized, oh, I have to fill out another document. I wasn't told that. I never got an email about that. But the problem is, a lot of people don't want to do the legwork, that they find it easier. Oh, I'm going to call this organization to do it for me. Oh, I can get there illegally. A lot of people fall for that because they want the simplistic answer. Oh, as long as it's all taken care of, all I have to do is just do the trek to get there. 8 hours in a boat, 10 hours locked in a freight train or a freight car. It just
ओके भाई ओके ठीक है
only to be sent back.
But right now, the only certain thing is that he can't go back, and he doesn't know what's ahead. This isn't just a journey, it's an exit plan. India's GDP per capita hovers around $2,700, 5 times below the global average. Across the rural north, thousands are searching for a way out from joblessness, low wages, and dead-end futures. According to government data, nearly 1 million people left Punjab between 2016 and 20.
Yeah, it's funny. Driving through Punjab, you see nothing but Canadian flags slapped on the back of every single vehicle. You're driving through there and it's just like, okay, I see Sidhu Moosewala and a Canadian flag. Of course, almost on every vehicle, Sidhu Moosewala and a Canadian flag, without fail. Without fail, as you're going through Punjab. And it's just like, okay, I get it. Oh, that's because they're all flying out to Canada. They're all flying out to Canada.
2021. The signs are everywhere. Visa agents, test prep centres, ads promising quick approvals, and one-way tickets out. It's part of pop culture too. Now, the fever grips Mohit's home state of Haryana. He's a farmer's son, and one more young man ready to risk it all.
अमेरिका का सबसे पहले तो मेरे मन में ये आया जाने का कि सबसे पहले तो इंस्टाग्राम पे देख रहा था मैं
It's a scam. That's the problem. Is it's again, just like in the last video where it was someone from a rural town who went to the big city and ended up becoming a scammer. Everything's a scam. Either the people in the rural areas are forced into it to be the scammer, or they are scammed themselves, told that they'll get a promising future in the US, where, I'm not gonna lie, we don't want you here. Or, not we. I don't want you here. If you did not do it by the books the correct way, you don't belong. I do believe that things need to be streamlined in the visa process, and I believe we need to have more international travel. The fact that we blacklist certain nations where, they just can't travel without a proper permit, and then getting a visa to travel is a huge headache. But the reason why it's a huge headache is a lot of people would travel and not leave. And then it becomes a massive issue. But it's insane. It's always the lower communities that sacrifice. Same thing in the US. The lower communities are the ones that have to sacrifice everything. It's not the people in the upper echelons. It's always those in the lower communities.
यहाँ पे उनकी लाइफ बहुत अच्छी चल रही थी मतलब इंस्टाग्राम पे वो कभी ये गाड़ी ले ली उन्होंने कभी जीटी मस्टैंग कभी कुछ वो यही था कि मैं वहाँ पे जाके अपना सब कुछ कर सकता हूँ जो मैंने सोचा है अगर मैं हार्ड वर्क करता हूँ तो
The Indians that are here working, they live in normally a really small, crappy area. And guess what? They have a massive mansion back home because they send their money back. That's how they are successful. They send their money back home. Why? Because it's worth far more. What's funny is what I get paid at work is considered next to nothing here. But it goes far in India. It goes far in India, but it's next to nothing here. It absolutely is. So you'll sacrifice you'll basically live the same in the US as you would in India, but you would get paid more considering the Indian wage. So you send it back home. You send it to your parents. You send it to your family, and they'll be the ones that actually benefit from you working there. And then eventually you can go back to a more cushy life. That's just the best way to go about it.
To Mohit, the legal route never felt like a real option.
लीगली जैसे अमेरिका जाने के लिए लीगली ट्राई नहीं किया मैं
Because they're told no before they even get a chance. That's the problem, is a lot of people don't even bother trying because everyone's just like, oh no, it won't work. Oh no, it won't work. That's the huge issue. That's the huge issue. So people think they can go the illegal route. When, well, if you do, I'm rooting for you getting deported. I don't care. I don't care if you're a good person. I don't care if you're a bad person. If you don't belong here, you don't belong here. I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does suck. But you have to do things the correct way. You just have to.
वो हम जैसे लड़कों को मतलब जो मेरी एज के 19, 20, 21 साल के हैं, उनका तो लगा लो ना मात्र ही चांस है। चाहे आपकी ट्रैवल हिस्ट्री कितनी भी अच्छी है, 4-5 साल मैं काम करूंगा तो उसके बाद मैं घूम सकता हूँ जहाँ मैं चाहूँ। बट अगर इंडिया में वही सेम काम मैं करता हूँ 10 साल, 15 साल, 20 साल भी करता हूँ, तो भी मैं जहाँ पे मैं घूमना चाहता हूँ, जहाँ पे जो मैं करना चाहता हूँ वो नहीं कर सकता मैं।
Between 2010 and 2022, the number of South Asians in the US jumped by 60%. Undocumented migration is part of that growth. Professor Irfan Noruddin has spent years studying the politics behind migration and how shifting policies are leaving people with fewer and fewer choices.
Because no matter where you are in the world, the policies always benefit the top. Because guess what? The politicians are at the top. That's the same thing here in the US. They get a ton of, sure, they get paid next to nothing via their bills, but they get kickbacks. They get to travel the world free of cost because they're a politician. And then they're given gifts as thank yous. It just, why are politicians some of the wealthiest people when they're supposed to be public servants? It's because they just want to benefit themselves. Again, it's always about, everyone's in it for themselves. I'm in it for myself. I do this because I enjoy doing this, but I do it because I enjoy doing it. I go to work because I need to work and I like money. Everyone's in it for themselves. If I could make a career doing this, I'll make a career doing this. But everyone's in it for themselves. They're always trying to climb the ranks and get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. I feel like eventually there's a point where I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. A lot of people don't get that. Sheesh. That's just a massive issue. That's just a massive issue, though. I'm one of those that's at the bottom. Whatever I want, whatever I need doesn't matter to the people at the top. There's a reason why a lot of the people at the top sound like they're from a different world, because they live a completely different life. They'll never understand what it means to go to work. They'll never understand what it means to actually hold a real job. There are streamers who have said that streaming is harder than a 9-to-5 job. It's harder than being a factory worker. It's harder than, it's just like, how idiotic do you have to be to have that kind of take? So it's just one of those things that it's like the policies, no matter what, no matter where you are, will always benefit the top. The problem is a lot of people give into this dream that their life will be better somewhere else. That may or may not be true, but it depends on what you're willing to do for it. Do to get it. Heck, if you have a phone, you can start a career on your own. You could start delivering packages. You could start streaming and posting and doing. I mean, heck, it cost what, like $1 to watch a movie in India? It cost me $20. $20 to go to the movies. Like, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. Heck, I'd rather be in India going to the theaters and watching movies. It'd be far cheaper, and I could do far more content, and it'd be like, oh, it's just $1. It's just $1. But then again, that's from my perspective, because $1 means next to nothing to me. Because I'm in the US. It has no real value. Because the inflation is so skyrocketed so high. But yeah, the policies are always meant to benefit the top. The politicians always want what's best for the politicians.
The fact is that lots of people do still try and get a visa and all of that. But for people who really want to settle down and make a life in America, not just temporary, the truth is that there are very few options for them. But now, because you have this challenge of going through legal means, it provides an opportunity for criminal entrepreneurs, if you would, to say, hey, for the right amount of money, we can get you in.
तो मेरे पास आखिरी यही चारा बचा था कि क्योंकि मेरे को जल्दी से जल्दी वहाँ से निकलना था इंडिया से। कुछ इंस्टाग्राम पे देखता था रील्स वगैरह, या फिर कोई लाइव आके बता रहा है, उनको सुनता था जो इसी रास्ते से गए हैं।
The path he's talking about has a name, the Dunki or donkey route. Dunki, from the Punjabi word to hop, is an underground network stitched across continents, from India to Latin America, through stopovers and border crossings, all aimed at a final destination, the United States or Europe.
What's funny is I told my wife, if you just fly to Mexico, you could cross the border and they'll just let you in. Sad but true. Sad but true. Of course, that's not the case right now because we have like closed borders and we're sending all those people back. But for a lot of people, it was that simple. So my father got his citizenship in 2016 because he wanted to vote in the election. He got his citizenship in 2016. And while he was there, they were naming off, name the nation you came off of. And they were naming, these people are using this passport. My father stood up and he was like one of like 3 people from Mexico. And then they mention, all right, everyone from France. Like 150 people stood up. They were all Punjab. Every single one of them who was from France was Punjab. This was in 2016. They got their U.S. citizenship, and apparently they were French nationals. Because I remember being there, and then when they mentioned French, I look around, and I'm like, why is everyone wearing a turban? I was just so confused. It was like, what the heck? These aren't French nationals. These are not. It's like a red flag here. Red flag. But they were able to get access and then but that's the thing. You get here, you become a citizen and you're done. You're done, but you have to do the work to become a citizen. They did the work. They came in on a fake passport, did the work, and now they're a U.S. national. Ugh.
Behind every Dunki journey, there's a middleman, a salesman of dreams, the agent. We tracked down one of them, a seasoned operator inside this underground network. His job, to move people across borders and pull the right strings to keep them moving.
ਇੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੋਚਿੰਗ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਕੋਚਿੰਗ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਆੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਲੀਗਲ ਕੰਮ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਡਿਵਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਡੋਂਕੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਡੋਂਕੀ 'ਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਇਲੀਗਲ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੁਛ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ
Behind closed doors, Mandeep reveals the inner workings of the Dunki route playbook.
ਤੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਏਜੰਟ ਪਿੰਡ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਭਤੀਜਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਏਜੰਟ ਨੇ ਭੇਜਿਆ ਸੀ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਜੁੜਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ
The agents play a central role, charging exorbitant fees to orchestrate complex travel arrangements. They offer a rate card. Pay more, you fly, with forged visas and safer stopovers.
What'd I just say? What'd I just say? You pay enough, you're able to actually get a quicker transit.
Pay less, you walk through jungles, rivers, and deserts.
ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਰਿਹਾ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਅਗਰ ਬਾਈ ਏਅਰ ਦੀ ਡੋਂਕੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਹ 'ਚ 60 ਤੋਂ 80 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਅਗਰ ਜੰਗਲ ਦੀ ਡੋਂਕੀ ਹੈ 30 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 45 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਇਹ 'ਚ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ 'ਚ ਫਰਕ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪਹੁੰਚਣ ਦੀ ਸੁਵਿਧਾ ਕੈਸੀ ਹੈ
Mohit chooses the cheapest way with the highest risk, at a cost of about $38,000. He mortgages his father's farmland, and when his younger brother refuses to stay behind, he doubles the debt.
जैसे मेरे भाई ने मेरे साथ आने की सोची इस रास्ते से तो मैं थोड़ा सा दुखी भी था इस बात से थोड़ी टेंशन भी थी कि कहीं दोनों को कुछ हो जाए पीछे माँ बाप को करने के लिए कोई नहीं बचेगा फिर
The journey wasn't theirs alone. Friends from the village, boys they'd grown up with, were coming too. The day of departure had finally arrived. Mohit sets off in June 2024 with a promise. 3 months to America.
I'm pretty sure. Like, the whole thing's a scam. The whole thing is just there. They mortgage the family land, right? I'm pretty sure the people who are going to end up holding the guarantee of the mortgage, so if they lapse, it's going to be the person that sent them out there in the first place, that scammed them to begin with. There is so many layers of corruption. It is absolutely disgusting. But the thing is, people feel like that's the only hope they are offered. Like, I've been to India so many times, and every time I see so much potential. The problem is like, I'm used to driving around the country fields here and seeing nothing but agricultural fields and lands are all done by primarily machinery. Only the picking's really done by hand. Like a fig orchard that I'm on, the picking's done by hand, but the land is tilled by machinery. The pruning, everything is basically done by machinery. If someone was able to actually invest in doing like a machine operated kind of farmland, it'd probably go far. The problem is maybe someone will see that and see, oh, they have money, and then they'd start getting extorted. Because that's one of the issues is like there might be something, the reason why they're doing it this way is because it prevents someone from seeing, oh, they have money, so they have to, there's so many things that are just in place to keep people in poverty and poverty. That happens everywhere in the world, whether it's India, whether it's Mexico, whether it's the United States. Yeah, it's just insane.
But 2 weeks on, he
Sing
remains
is king.
holed up in a cheap Delhi hotel.
ਹੁਣ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਏਜੰਟ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਕ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਬਣਾ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਸੈਟਿੰਗ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਦੁਬਈ ਹੈ ਕਤਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਛੋਟੀ-ਛੋਟੀ ਕੰਟਰੀਜ਼ ਹਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਈਜ਼ੀਲੀ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਇੰਡੀਅਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਇਹ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ
Mohit is now finally on the move. But this time, he's not just watching the dream, he's in it, filming his own Dunki journey.
राम राम भाई सारे भाई आता है यो ही था भाई ठीक है वीडियो को टाइम टू टाइम आती होंगी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन बढ़िया हटा देवांगे क्योंकि बन गया का खत्म है मतलब ठीक है भाई सपोर्ट बनाए रखिए सारे भाई हर वीडियो में प्यार के सारे मिलकर तो इसलिए मैंने व्लॉगिंग वगैरह का सोचा था कि फिर मैंने सोचा कि अभी ये ट्रिप कर रहे हैं मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द डेंजरस ट्रिप है ये तो क्यों ना हम इसको सबको दिखाया जाए कि क्या कैसा कठिनाइयों का सामना करना पड़ता है
Yeah. And keep a log so they know roughly where you disappeared at. Sad but true. If you end up disappearing, they will know where you last signed off at.
वैसे टावड़े हमारी जहाज उठ गए 12 बजे 1-2 घंटे में रुक जाएंगे फिर शांति हो जाएगी कल से ठंडक सी एयरपोर्ट पे जैसे उनकी सेटिंग वगैरह थी जो वहाँ के ऑफिसर्स होते हैं कोई 1-2
Corruption.
10 में से दूसरी लाइन में हमें जाना होता है फिर हम उस लाइन में गए हमारा सब कुछ इमिग्रेशन क्लियर हुआ
For Mohit, the entry point was Ethiopia, chosen for its easy e-visa access.
तो हमने दिल्ली से फ़्लाइट ली अपनी इथोपिया एयरलाइंस की हमारी दिल्ली से हम पूछे इथोपिया एडिस अबाबा से पहुँचे हम फिर ब्राज़ील साओ paulo एयरपोर्ट पे रुके हम 40-45 घंटे वहीं पे भाई एयरपोर्ट पे सोए 2 दिन
From Brazil, he flew to Guyana. This is where a new set of players in the human smuggling chain come into action, the Donkers.
तो भाई जुगर अपनी टैक्सी आ रही है 10 मिनट का नाम दिया है ना डोंगर ने 10 मिनट में टैक्सी आ जाएगी फिर हमारे लकड़ी लेवांगे
Donkers are the ground-level operators of the Dunki network. They guide migrants across borders, or often through dangerous terrain. But they aren't just facilitators. They enforce payments, manage risks, and operate outside the reach of law.
डोंकर्स जो है कि बहुत रिस्क लेके काम करते हैं बेसिकली ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग
Yeah. There's a reason why males predominantly are the only ones that reach their destination. If a woman tried to make the transit, she would end up disappearing part of the way through. Just how it happens. It's heinous, it's disgusting, but yeah, I don't know how to say it to where it's like, because nastiness exists and nastiness will always exist. There is no getting rid of it until we get rid of the human race. As heinous as that sounds. But yeah, I've seen King is King. That's a comedy, right? I think it's a comedy.
ये तो पूरे वर्ल्ड जो सेम है
Toxic,
सब
come on.
बसते हैं
And now, Mohit is in their hands. With every new leg of the journey, the stakes rise. From Guyana, he crosses into Brazil, and then into Bolivia. One checkpoint at a time, through boats, vans, and bribes.
ये बेटे 8 जने की बोट है भाई टोटल 8 बंदे हैं और $15 यही नमाता है और वहाँ से बोट में हमने अपना आगे का सफर स्टार्ट किया वो लगता है तो नदी वगैरह बहुत बड़ी बड़ी और बहुत पानी वाली है ये भी हमें बता दिया गया डोंगर ने, कुछ जो हमसे आगे लड़के गए थे उन पे फायरिंग वगैरह हुई थी, उन्होंने बताया। तो उसने हमें एक वैन में बिठाया था क्रॉस करने के लिए। उस वैन में उसने हमें 17-18 घंटे रोक के रखा भाई, ना पेशाब करना था। पेशाब की बहुत ज़बरदस्त वाली दाव लगी हुई थी। पानी की बोतल हमारे पास ज़्यादा कुछ खाने का लेके नहीं आ गए थे।
Every stop, migrants leave behind clothes, bags, IDs, beach.
Yep. They just add to the dump. They just add to the mess. Because it's too much to carry. Like there are paths that are just littered with crap that do not belong. And it just makes it disgusting. And sure, there are places in the U.S. that are like this, where the homeless camps are, where the homeless people tend to congregate, look like this. But it's disgusting and it shouldn't be around. Even in homeless camps, it shouldn't be a thing.
It's become dumping grounds.
कि वो अपने सामान होता है जो अपनी लिमिट से ज़्यादा लेके चलते हैं, कि हम इतना खा लेंगे, इतने कपड़े लेके चलेंगे, बट वो कर नहीं पाते क्योंकि बहुत हार्ड होता है चल के जाना।
Yep.
Now, the biggest obstacle lies ahead. A stretch so brutal, it breaks bodies and hope alike. The Darien Gap. And they're preparing for it.
या भाई पनामा जंगल में जाने की तैयारी होगी फुल। ये देखो जोड़े भर लिया है, इसमें खाने पीने का सामान है। ये अपने जूते जाते दिए भाई, लाइट लूइट जराब सारा सौदा दे दिया, मतलब जूस की बोतल, एक पानी की बोतल। तो पनामा के बारे में हमने आने से पहले सुना था कि अगर हमने पनामा पार कर लिया तो हम अमेरिका पहुंच गए। मतलब वही थी जो सबसे खतरनाक जगह हमने सुनी थी आज तक।
Between Colombia and Panama lies the Darien Gap. 100 kilometers of swamp and lawlessness. No roads and no way back.
Come on. ये देखो क्या होगा हमारे साथ। अभी ये नदी क्रॉस करनी है, मेरे दोस्त कर रहे।
Sheesh.
You guys made a video? It was so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.